together as Africa. What are we saying? 1.4 billion people in the continent must work together to drive AI. With our collective GDP of $3.4 trillion. Those are the numbers that will make us short callers and bowlers in the AI revolution. 1.4 billion people working together with a collective GDP of $3.4 trillion. That's why we're saying Africa, Africa. Remember, we have 8 billion people in the world, and 6.6 billion are in what is called the Global South. The Global South consists of emerging and least industrialized countries. And there are 6.6 billion people in the Global South. They are the global majority. So we are saying Africa is part of the global majority. Africa working with the rest of the global majority. Why don't we unlock value and improve the quality of life of our people? That's why we say Africa. And also remember, the African diaspora. The Africans in America, the Africans in the Caribbean, the Africans in Latin America, the Africans in Brazil and Argentina. When you put the Africans on the continent together with the Africans in the diaspora, we're talking about 2.2 billion people and collective GDP $5 trillion. Chikwana. These are the numbers that make sense in the AI revolution. If you can mobilize 2.2 billion people, if you can mobilize $5 trillion, then the African continent can unlock value from the AI revolution. That's why we are saying, why and how can Africa embrace the AI revolution? Numbers, numbers, numbers. Also, we are saying, please, let us not underestimate our strength, our geography, our landmass. Do you realize that all these countries, all of them, they fit into Africa. All of them. The US can fit into Africa. China can fit into Africa. India can fit into Africa. So when you look at the map that you taught us, Professor Msengi and Professor Nyambia, you lied to us. The size of Africa we are given in high school is smaller than the actual size of Africa. We are much bigger than what's depicted in geography. Our landmass can accommodate the US. Our landmass can accommodate China. Our landmass can go India and China. We are a massive continent. Why don't we think about that as we seek to unlock value from AI? So please, disregard the map they gave you at GZU. It's faulty. They make Africa look smaller than it actually is. We are bigger than that. Also remember that we also have remittances from the diaspora. This is the cash coming from our people in the diaspora. Let us make our people in the diaspora money in the bank. Now, Professor Nyambia, what do we mean when we say artificial intelligence? We are talking about the development, the deployment of computer systems, algorithms that have human-like intelligence, such as learning, such as problem solving, such as decision making. If you can have these things in an algorithm, in a computer system, in a machine, you have an AI system. That's all. That's all. And the key drivers of AI, why AI has taken off in the last 3 years, is because of two things. Data. There's so much data now coming from social media, from this and the other. There's so much data today, number one. Number two, the computing power has gone up. Computational power, or what we call compute resources. The computers are much faster. So AI has taken up and taken off in the last 3 years because of access to extensive sources of data and computational power. That's why AI is a big deal now in the year 2025. We were talking about AI in the 70s, in the 60s, in the 90s, but we didn't have enough data. We didn't have enough computational power. Now, we have computational power, we have the data, and we're doing AI. In terms of taxonomy, the classification of AI, we start with what's called single task AI. An AI that does one thing and does it well, but that's what it does. Then we have what's called agentic AI, where we are developing and building AI agents. It gets more complicated, autonomous, making decisions and pursuing goals. Then we move on to what's called generative AI. That's the biggest and the most important. That's what we're talking about in most industries. We're talking about an AI that creates new content or novel ideas. An AI that creates new images, new music, new text. This is the major driver of the revolution. ChatGPT, Grok 4, Meta AI, Copilot, they are all types of generative AI. New content and knowledge from an AI system. So, Dr. Nyambia, as you study AI, please concentrate on generative AI. It is the big driver of this revolution. Of course, we now have what's called AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. Now, that's getting interesting now. What do we mean? Under AGI, we are talking about a computer system, a machine that will exhibit all the human cognitive capabilities in that machine. Reasoning, problem solving, creativity, and social skills in a machine. Everything that you do, Chikwana. We want the machine to be able to do it. When we succeed, it's going to be called AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. Work in progress, not yet done, but we're on our way to the promised land. We are on our way to AGI. I'm saying as Africans, as we seek to use AI to improve our quality of life, to benefit from AI, remember, there are other frightening things that are happening in AI. There is another one which is even more interesting, if not frightening. It's called superintelligence. Professor Museng, what we're saying now is, how about a computer system which surpasses human intelligence across all domains? Reasoning, problem solving, creativity, and social skills, outperforming the brightest person in every intellectual task. We are talking about an AI system that is smarter than Einstein in terms of IQ, smarter than Newton in terms of IQ, smarter than Elon Musk and Gates put together. Superintelligence. Leading to AI self-improvement and unpredictable outcomes. We are not there yet, but it's work in progress. You might say, why are they doing this? Why don't you just have a law that says, don't do superintelligence? You can't. Because there's competition between China and America to achieve superintelligence. Right now, America and China are kind of even. America, $27 trillion GDP. China, 19. Nuclear weapons, they have them. So they're kind of even. Whichever country gets superintelligence first will have what we call an asymmetric advantage over the other. If China gets superintelligence, it's now here. It's a step function, asymmetric advantage over the US. If the US gets superintelligence first, the Americans are in a class of their own. So it's a war. There's a war between China and America around AI in pursuit of superintelligence. And we will look at why they're doing that at some point later on. But remember, you can't moralize Nyambia with your Bible and tell us, don't do superintelligence, don't play God. It's not up to Mutambara, it's up to China and America. And also the curious engineer, I'm very curious. You can't stop me, Nyambia. I'll play God if I can. I mean, I'm curious. I'm a scientist. I'm an engineer. If God can be played, I'll play him. Not yet there. We are not there yet. But we are on our way to the promised land of superintelligence. You know, why is it interesting? You know, in technology, replication is trivial. Remember, when Ford was able to build the first car, to get 1,000 was trivial. First car was hard. Once he got the car, 1,000, 1,000,000 cars. The Wright brothers, the first plane was hard. Once you get the first plane, 1,000 planes, 1,000,000 planes. Now, professors, the students of the greatest university of Zimbabwe, once we get one super intelligent agent, getting 1,000, getting 1,000,000,000 is trivial. All we need is one super intelligent agent, then we get 1,000,000,000. Now you tell me, sister, how, I know you try sometimes, but in general, the smarter one looks after the not so smart. We don't know. There's so many unknowns when we get to superintelligence. But we are concentrating on applications in Africa, but you must know these things are out there. You might say, I will never get there. We now have a new examination. I know you love exams, right? At university, right? You like grade 7 exams, Form 2 exams, Form 4 exams, Form 6 exams, first year. You love exams, you Zimbabweans. And your professors. Now, Professor Musengi and Dr. Nyambia, we have a new examination in town. It's called Humanities Last Exam. The most difficult, the hardest exam ever. Guess what? What we do? We take PhD level questions in every field, in sociology, in psychology, in physics, in chemistry, in engineering, in vet science, in medicine, in Shona, in Ndebele, and put them in the machine. PhD level questions. And then for the answers, we go to experts in 1,000 subjects and we put the answers into the machine. Humanities last examination. Your top professor here at GZU is getting 2% on this exam. 3%. Your smartest professor at MIT, 2%. Harvard, 3%. You know why? You can be a professor of physics, okay? The top professor of physics at Harvard, at Oxford, Cambridge. You answer all the physics questions and get 0 in sociology, 0 in chemistry, 0 in Shona, 0 in law, 0 in vet science. Because you can't answer PhD level questions when you are a physicist in the other areas. So you get your little marks from physics and zeros everywhere. That's why your top professor from MIT is getting 3%. And the smartest person in the world, we've got a person who's got an IQ of 276. They're getting 5%. In other words, we are saying, if we look at humanity's last examination, the human being is ranging between 3 and 5%. Our smartest people, Elon Musk, Gates, whoever those fools are, they're only getting 3 to 5%. Guess what? Where are the machines? Chikwana. The machines are getting 44%. Grok 4. Just this July. What we're saying, ladies and gentlemen, Comrades and friends, the machine is 10 times smarter than the smartest person. 10 times smarter in the year 2025. I know intelligence is not just about examination, there are other things. But when we concentrate on that narrow definition of intelligence, where we're talking about zamanishan, AI, 8 billion people, 10 times smarter than the smartest person. What are we saying? This is the year 2025. What happens in 2035 after 10 years of these things? They grow exponentially, in terms of knowledge. So we are saying to you, super intelligence is almost here. But don't worry, the future does not belong to AI on its own. The future belongs to what we call human augmentation. The machine and the person being a better professional. The lecturer plus AI, a better lecturer. AI, a student, better student. Engineer plus AI, better engineer. Human augmentation is the future. How can I use AI to be a better teacher? How can I use AI to be a better manager? Human 2.0. So that is a positive way of looking at AI. Human augmentation. So don't worry too much about superintelligence. And Grok 4, when it came out, was very interesting because it came out when Trump and Elon Musk were fighting. You remember, for those who are on Twitter, they were beefing and riffing. And then Elon Musk produced Grok 4. And Trump and the Defense Department saw the power of Grok 4. And they said, you know what, Elon, forget your fight with Trump. Here's $100 million, please. Take it, give us Grok 4 for the army. They forgot about their differences. And Trump and the Defense Department gave Elon Musk a $100 million check to use Grok 4 in the army. What are you doing in Zimbabwe? Please, can you rise above your petty political differences, your petty personal differences, and embrace technology and embrace good ideas to push the country forward? Learn from Elon Musk and Trump. Why am I saying this? You have heard of the billionaire Strive Masiwa. Makambo muzwa we. Strive Masiwa has gotten together with NVIDIA. His company called Cassava is working together with NVIDIA to bring the GPUs into South Africa. We'll talk about them later on, into Kenya, into Ghana, into Egypt, minus Zimbabwe. Tell us, GZU, why is your billionaire ignoring you? Why don't you reach out to your billionaire? He's working with South Africa. He's working with Kenya. He's working with Egypt. Dramatizing the need to rise above any differences and embrace technology to drive this country to the promised land. Learn from Elon Musk and Trump. And by the way, Defense Department, let me emphasize this. You know, some of you have an iPhone, it's very fast. There's a supercomputer at UZ. There's a supercomputer at Harvard. If you as a civilian, Chukwan, very civilian, also soldier guy, civilian, if you have a fast equipment and a fast computer, what do you think the intelligence people have? FBI, CIA, MI5, MI6. Do you think, as you sit there as a civilian, you have the same level of technology as MI5, as KGB, as Mossad? Are you sure? The most advanced science and technology is in the army, it's in intelligence, it's in the Air Force. What you have as a civilian is 10 years old. I know it because I was working in America as a professor. I was doing research in the Air Force, research in defense, and NASA. And because that's where the science is cutting edge. And when I used to go to meetings, they'll look at me curiously. This general who's also a professor, where are you from? And I say, Zimbabwe. But you can stay there. Why? Because even if you get the high science, you can't use it to your small country. So our smallness, our littleness as a country allowed me to have high science. Because they said, he can't use it, let's give it to you. If I was from China, if I was from Russia, they would ask me to leave. I said this, understand this. AI is about the army. AI is about defense and air force. So it's a competition. Professor Museng, why do we say a revolution? AI is creating new science, new physics. The Nobel Prizes from last year were all driven by AI, were all products of AI. The Nobel Prize in physics, AI. Nobel Prize in chemistry, AI. AI is driving the academy. That's why we say it's a revolution. When you embrace AI here at GZU, please don't adopt it in isolation. It's part of an ecosystem of technologies, what we call transformative technologies. Don't embrace AI in isolation. AI sits on digital. Without digital, there's no AI. AI requires data. Without data, there's no AI. So you need to make sure you understand the role of mobile telephony, the role of digital transformation, the role of big data analytics, cybersecurity, and blockchain. Blockchain. Please, Dr. Nyambia, as you pursue AI, make sure you also start blockchain. Blockchain is a revolutionary technology on its own. When you combine it with AI, it's even more massive. Renewable energy, fintech, cryptocurrency, all these technologies, quantum computing, a major technology. You understand AI is part of an ecosystem. It's part of an ecosystem. Quantum, for example, if you think a supercomputer is fast, quantum will be 10,000 times faster, 1,000,000 times faster. Encryption, you know, when you do encryption, you can crack the code after playing around with it for a year to crack a code. With quantum, you need 5 minutes. So all the encryption you have, we throw out of the window. Quantum is a major revolution on its own. When you combine quantum and AI, it's another revolution altogether. And that thing we talk about, AGI and super intelligence, will become achievable sooner than later. By the way, quantum is still green, not yet ready. But why do you wait for it to be ready? As GZU, can you deploy some research resources into quantum? So when quantum comes online, you are ready. It's still green, it's still being refined. Let us be part as Africans of that. We are saying Africa must understand this technology and be part of it. Synthetic biology, what are we doing? We're doing gene editing. We're creating new genes. We are seeing, for example, Chikwana. We look at these bad genes and good genes. We take out the bad ones. So the next Chikwana only has the good genes of Chikwana. It's called gene editing. I'm sure Chikwana will like that. He's got so many bad genes. We are also resuscitating old genes that expired. Dinosaurs are coming back. We are resuscitating genes that died a long time. Those that are extinct are coming to life. It's called synthetic biology, gene editing. Applications in healthcare, applications in agriculture, in environmental solutions. When you combine AI plus synthetic biology, it's a new world. We cannot predict the future. Many unknowns. There's a book for you to read, The Coming World, which talks about this revolution. Blockchain, blockchain, blockchain. A decentralized, immutable digital ledger that securely records transactions across a network of computers. This, on its own, it's a revolution. Let us understand blockchain in Africa and use blockchain plus AI. Cryptocurrency. This one is revolutionary. You know, when we are successful with this one, we're going to have what is called decentralized finance. There will be no need for a central bank. Tell the governor, your job is numbered. In the future, we won't need the central bank governor. Hey, basaro richapera. Takakataenda ku cryptocurrency. Decentralized finance. There will be no need in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, for a central bank governor. You know, I must emphasize that this revolution has challenges. There's what we call the dark side of AI. The algorithms are biased. There's issues of data security, job displacement, ethical misuse, where you have AI in the hands of bad actors. Cybercrime, hallucinations, where AI gives you the wrong answers. So use with care. We also worry that AI is going to create a gap between the haves and the have-nots. The poor will become poorer and the rich richer. There's a danger of data colonialism. There's a danger of digital imperialism. You are on Facebook. You are on Twitter. You are on WhatsApp. You're using Microsoft. Who owns that data? They audit. They can use that data, monetize you without giving you a cent. They can weaponize data against you. So there's a danger of AI colonialism, AI imperialism. There's a danger of techno-feudalism. What do we mean by that? Techno-feudalism. A few people, a few men, Elon Musk, Altman, Gates, owning these huge companies and dominating the world. And they're also controlling politicians. It's called techno-feudalism. There's a danger of that. And of course, the danger of the arms race. Right now, we have what are called autonomous weapon systems. The drone will decide who is the enemy. The drone will decide when to fire. We see that in Gaza, we see that in Ukraine. Autonomous weapon systems. In the future, you're going to have what is called battlefield singularity. Battlefield singularity. When it occurs, it means the human being becomes a problem. If a human being is involved in your army, you lose the war, you lose the battle. Because the human being will make the system inefficient. The robots are more efficient alone without a human commander. It's called battlefield singularity. We're not there yet. But when it occurs, an army that is sentimental, an army that says, I must have a human being in the loop, will lose the war, will lose the battle. Battlefield singularity. It gets worse. Right now, you know, nuclear weapons. Who's controlling nuclear weapons? Donald Trump has a finger on the button. Keir Starmer has a finger on the nuclear button. Xi Jinping, a finger on the button. And Putin, a finger on the button. In the future, the robot will have its finger on the nuclear bomb. So the robot will decide whether to use a nuke or not. They are called autonomous nuclear weapon systems. Why are they doing it? Because they can't cooperate, they're competing. You know, the Europeans and the Americans have said, we'll never allow autonomous nuclear weapons. We're always going to have a person in the loop. And the Chinese and the Russians are smiling. Hey, go ahead and agree. We are going to do it. Why would the Chinese and the Russians listen to what America has to say on anything? Geopolitical contestation is leading to these problems of an AI-driven arms race. Please, GZU, please, Africa, use the AI systems. But remember, they are not neutral. They carry the values and interests of the creators of those systems, the values and interests of the owners of the data. And this came out very clearly when the book called Genesis was launched. Genesis was written by Kissinger and Eric and Craig. Eric and Craig are high-tech guys. Kissinger was an expert in geopolitics. They did a book called Genesis, which was published after Kissinger had died. That's the book, you must read it. It was launched by Walter Isaacson, a top professor. And this is what Walter said when he launched it. This is Walter Isaacson, a professor. We must make sure these AI systems reflect our American values. We must make sure these AI systems reflect our Western interests and values, not those of the Chinese. I'm saying, the AI you're using is built by people who have these views. Use it, but know that these people are not neutral. They have an agenda. We must make sure that these AI systems reflect our American values, our Western values, and not those of the Chinese. Chukwana, wapawa. And they don't mention you, Africans, because you are doing nothing. You produce no AI systems. So the Americans are not even worried about you, so they don't put you in there, not Africans. Because Africans are nothing, they're sitting pretty without doing anything. We must be creators of AI systems for us to be consequential. What about our Chinese? I know you love the Chinese. Your Chinese friends, are they Father Christmas? Are they the nice ones? Certainly not. Tonight, go to DeepSeek R1, that's their product. Go to DeepSeek R1 and type this instruction to DeepSeek R1. Can you explain what happened at Tiananmen Square and the reasons behind it? Tiananmen Square, that's when the Chinese crushed those students in 1989 who were demonstrating using tanks in 1989. In 1989 is a very special year because I was also being crushed. I was in Chikurubi as a Zimbabwean soldier of this struggle. I was locked up by the regime of Robert Mugabe. At the same time as Tiananmen Square was happening. So I remember this very well. So you go and type this, and the AI system from China will say, I'm sorry, I cannot answer that question. I'm an AI assistant designed to provide helpful and harmless responses. So the Chinese are making sure their AI systems don't discuss their bad history. They don't want you to talk about it. It's treason. It's harmful. So the AI system refuses to answer. Now, it's your job to do your own AI system and put your own values there. I'm not attacking the Chinese. Write your own. And then you can go and put in there, Ubuntu. I am because we are. We are because I am. Munu munu nge vanu. Vanu vanu nge munu. Okanda omu AI system. Must wear Jesus at you. So there is serious geopolitical contestation between the US and China. That's why you can never get an agreement going on. AI affects geopolitics. Geopolitics affects AI. Listen to the commerce sector in America. We don't sell them our best stuff. Not our second best. Not even our third best. That's the US commerce sector talking about the Chinese. And the Chinese react by buying less of NVIDIA's chips. It's a war in the AI revolution. I'm trying to make sure you understand the content of the revolution. I want you to understand what AI means. I want you to understand the dark side of AI, the dangers of AI. But also, I want you to understand that AI is affecting every sector. Agriculture, mining, healthcare, everything is affected. Think about electricity. How electricity is ubiquitous. Electricity affects every part of our life. So go back to 1879, when electricity was commercialized by the discovery of the electric bulb by Thomas Edison in October 1879. From that time on, electricity became a component of every aspect of industry, every aspect of our life. That's AI for you. So if you're trying to understand the impact of AI, understand the impact of electricity. It's everywhere. In your car, in your house, in this room, everywhere. It's ubiquitous. That's AI. That's why we're saying the AI revolution. Money, money, money. You know, every time you switch on your TV, CNN, BBC, ZTV, They're talking AI. Why are they doing that? Because AI is about money. This year, AI will contribute $11 trillion to global GDP. $11 trillion. And global GDP is $110 trillion. So AI is contributing 10% of global GDP. It has never happened before for one technology to give us 10% of global GDP. Generative AI, which I say is the big one, alone is giving us $4 trillion. Generative AI, which is the special and most powerful type of AI, is giving us $4 trillion. 3.7% of global GDP from one type of AI. People, this means that generative AI is equivalent to the Japanese economy. Just one type of AI is number 4 in the world. Ahead is the US, China, and Germany only. Generative AI is equivalent to the Japanese economy. Okay? It's bigger than our little economies. We are talking about Africa working together. Look at those Mickey Mouse economies. South Africa, $400 billion GDP. Nigeria, 243. Zimbabwe, I won't mention, you're too small. Botswana, 19. These numbers, Chikwana, will not allow you to be a player in the AI revolution. The only numbers who make us players is a collective GDP of $3.4 trillion and 1.4 billion people. That's why we're saying Africa, Africa, Africa. Can you imagine if I was to rock up and I say, here I come, I'm the African. I speak on behalf of 1.4 billion people. Behind me, I have a collective GDP of $3.4 trillion. And also I'm in charge of all the minerals in Africa. The diamonds, the gold, the critical minerals, the rare earth minerals, all of them from the DRC, from Zimbabwe, from Angola, not out of love, out of economics. The Chinese will talk to me out of economics and out of love, and I'll get a better deal from the Chinese. When you go as little Botswana to China, you get shortchanged. As you go as little Rwanda and DRC to Trump, you are foolish. You get shortchanged. I saw them, DRC and Rwanda, going to Trump. Shame on you, Rwanda and DRC. We must go as 1.4 billion people with a collective GDP of $3.4 trillion. All the minerals in the DRC, in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, in Angola, and Ghana, under one command. That's how you negotiate. That's how you become consequential in the AI revolution. That's why we say Africa, not Zimbabwe, not Ghana. If you think my numbers are ambitious, my $11 trillion, look at the conservative numbers from PwC and McKinsey and Company. They are saying AI will contribute 15.7 in the year 2030 and $7 trillion this year. Still, these conservative numbers are huge. 7 is double our collective GDP. So even these conservative numbers show us we are in a revolution. You see, they're saying 7 this year and then 15.7 in 2030. That's conservative, but still it's huge. Now the question is, what's going on? Why is AI having such a major economic impact? What is driving the massive economic impact of AI? One word that GZU. Productivity, productivity, productivity. When they ask you, why is AI such a big deal? Just say to them, productivity, productivity, productivity. Then you shut up. AI has a staggering impact on productivity. What we call productivity per person is shooting up because of AI. That's why we're getting $11 trillion from one technology in a year, because the productivity capacity has gone up. AI is a productivity multiplier. AI is an escalator of productivity. What do we mean? Last week, we are producing 1,000 computers. This week is 20,000 because of AI. Last week we were producing 1,000 cell phones. This week, 50,000 because of AI. That is what we call escalation of productivity. That's what we call a multiplier effect from AI. This is why AI is a revolution. Remember, we're trying to understand why we say AI revolution. If you want a bit more words, if they push you a bit more, you say to them, okay, AI is about escalation of productivity. AI gives us enhanced efficiency. AI gives us cost savings. AI gives us increased innovation. 4 drivers of the revolution: productivity, efficiency, cost savings, and innovation. 4. But the key one, which drives everything, is productivity. But you can explain it a bit better by giving us 4. This is why we are talking about how and why we must embrace a revolution, because these are achievements in every sector: agriculture, mining, education. Look at Goldman Sachs. They're the top consulting financial institution in the world. What are they saying? AI has allowed us so that 95% of our work is done in minutes using AI. Before, last week, we required 6 people and multiple weeks. Do you see that? Moving from 6 people and 4 weeks to minutes. It's a revolution. And they do complicated work, these guys. Your work is not very complicated. Is it? Anyway, what I'm saying is they are using AI, and AI is changing their work from 6 weeks and 6 people to minutes. Our work, whatever we are doing, can also be held by AI. They are the best and the most prestigious investment and banking financial institution in the world, and they have these benefits. Now, lest you are under any illusion, AI does not operate on air. AI does not work on water. It needs hardware. The hardware required to drive AI. The chips that are required to drive AI. When you say, I'm using the stuff on cloud, the cloud means the storage is elsewhere at Amazon or somebody else. So when we have ChatGPT, Grok 4, and Meta, always remember those systems are running on hardware sitting in Silicon Valley, being trained by chips and hardware. That area is dominated by TSMC from Taiwan and NVIDIA. TSMC does the fabrication, and the design and the programming is done by NVIDIA, in particular for AI. Now, these guys, NVIDIA, crossed the $4 trillion mark in July. They're now the biggest company from last year in the world. Bigger than Microsoft, bigger than Apple. They crossed the $4 trillion mark. Today, I checked before I came to the meeting, the market cap is $4.5 trillion. One company, that's only hardware, only, nothing else. I'm saying the African, if we're going to benefit from AI, number one, we must use AI. Number two, we must create our own AI systems. But more importantly, why don't we play in this space and have a piece of this pie? Why? Because these hardware chips require critical minerals. They require rare earth minerals, which are in Zimbabwe, which are in the DRC, which are in South Africa, which are in Africa. Why don't we as Africa leverage our minerals to be players in the hardware that drives AI, so we can get a piece of this pie? Why do we care? It's a huge pie. This company, this little company that does hardware alone, nothing else, is the 4th in terms of size after the US, China, and Germany. Only 3 countries are bigger than this company. Only 3 countries. The US, China, and Germany. Everybody else Japan, the UK, Russia are smaller than the company that does that. We are saying, Ambia, we want a piece of that pie. You can talk AI unless you are also playing in the space of hardware, because it's cash and more cash. And this hardware requires our minerals from the DRC, from Zimbabwe, from South Africa, from Ghana. Why don't we as Africans leverage our minerals to get a piece of that pie? The pie is big. You thought mining was a big player. Look at Rio Tinto. This is in $1 billion now. Look at Rio Tinto. Look at BHP. They're like little boys and little girls when you compare them to NVIDIA. Mining is nothing. AI is the economy is AI. AI is the economy is AI. You can see it there. Forget mining. Mickey Mouse Industries. And if we combine now with NVIDIA, we put in Meta and Alphabet, we put in Microsoft. Those top 3 companies, which are dominating the entire world, are driven by AI. You see that. You thought Ford was big, right? You thought GM was a company. You thought Coca-Cola was big. You thought McDonald's was something. Look at them compared to AI. McDonald's, nothing. Coca-Cola, nothing. Netflix, nothing. GM, you're too small. AI is the economy is AI. So that's why we need to understand AI in Africa. That's why we need to embrace AI, because if you're not doing AI, you're not in the economy. If you're not doing AI, you are not consequential in the economy. The economy is being driven by AI. This is why Africa must embrace the AI revolution. Listen to the message here from the owner of NVIDIA. He says, AI will create more millionaires in the next 5 years than the internet did in 20 years. That's the prediction. He himself is worth $155 billion. His company is $4.51 trillion. He personally is 155. And Mr. Elon Musk last week became the richest man in the world as he was before, but is now $500 billion, $0.5 trillion. One man called Elon Musk. A revolution. We are saying, I don't like to be told about millionaires. Here's my question to GZU. Here's my question in Africa. How many people will AI help move out of poverty? Since AI is now the economy, since AI is driving the economy, you and I must ask ourselves, how many people can we move out of poverty using AI? That's my agenda. That's your agenda. China was able to move 800 million people out of poverty in 40 years. And today they're dominating AI, and they're using AI to empower their people. The reason why we're having this public lecture, we are saying, can Africa use AI to move people out of poverty? We've understood it's a revolution. We've understood we must embrace it. The question is, how are we going to do it? To move people out of poverty. Jobs, I know you're worried about the jobs, aren't you? Jobs and more jobs. Here is the comforting news. AI won't replace banking and finance employees or employees at GZU, but banking and finance employees who use AI will be replaced by those who don't. You like that, right? So, yeah, man, I'm going to use AI, then my job is safe. Hey, not really. So this is a reasonable phrasing in the financial sector, but not very correct. It's also been repeated by my friend Jensen. You are not going to lose your jobs to AI, but rather to someone who uses AI. Don't believe the hype. It's nice, but not very correct. It depends on what you're doing. Some jobs are going to die.
So we are saying really, not really. It's like saying this, when the tractor came through, you're talking to the horse. You won't lose your job to a tractor, but to a horse who learns how to drive a tractor. How many horses learned how to drive a tractor? So please, Chikwana, don't tell me little lies. Don't try to please me by saying these nice things to me. It's a revolution and some jobs are going to die. So the horse who survived was the horse who became a racing horse. A horse who became, there's no horse who learned how to drive a tractor. So if you are saying this to yourself, you won't lose your job to a tractor, but to a horse who learns how to drive a tractor, you are kind of telling yourself sweet little lies. Some jobs are going to disappear. Okay? But the good question is, AI will make me 10 times better. That's a better message for yourself. And AI might cost you a job, but don't say AI will take my job and then start crying. Say to yourself, AI will make me 10 times better at my job. So we are saying in terms of jobs at GZU, there is going to be job destruction. Some jobs are going to die. Please understand that. It's called job displacement. It's going to happen. That's bad news. But get over it. Good news. Most of our jobs are not going to die. They'll be modified. Job modification. That's most of our jobs. Even better news, AI will create new jobs. So always remember when that conversation about AI and jobs come up, that there will be job destruction. Number one. Good news, most jobs won't die, they'll be modified. But more importantly, even better news in Africa is to reskill the job losers and reskilling and prepared for the modified jobs. But more importantly, skills and capabilities and competencies to take advantage of the new jobs and continuous education and reskilling. Dr. Nyambia, here's the equation that you must always respect. I know you're a chemist, but I'm sure you understand the equations as well. We are saying the new jobs plus the modified jobs must be much, much more than the destroyed jobs. If that happens, we are happy. There will be more jobs in Africa if we achieve this. But it's not guaranteed. We must work on it to make sure our new jobs plus our modified jobs are much more than the destroyed jobs. Then that's how Africa is going to make it if we are able to achieve that equation. And this is backed up by the research from the World Economic Forum. You can see the green numbers and the red ones. If the jobs created are more than the destroyed, we are doing okay. Okay? What are the new jobs? Data scientists, machine learning engineers, data engineers, AI domain experts in agriculture, experts in education, experts in healthcare, AI ethics, AI policy experts, AI prompt engineers, AI project manager, meta software engineer, smart contract lawyer. Let's read that one. I know there's a business, there are so many law schools here. There's a law school here at MSU and UZ. A smart contract lawyer, let's describe it. A specialist lawyer who can ensure that an agreement made in the metaverse is encoded in the blockchain layer used to transact it. Your professors at the law school, the Hebechitepo Law School, do they know about the metaverse? Do they know blockchain? At UZ, my friend Gwisai and Maduku, do they understand metaverse? Do they understand blockchain? No. So in other words, don't assume that you're ready for the new jobs. We need new teachers, new professors. We need to fire all these ones. And get professors who understand the metaverse, professors who understand blockchain, a meta software engineer, a prompt engineer. We look at the professors at NAST, professors at UZ, my alma mater. Can they produce a meta software engineer? Can they produce
a prompt engineer. What we are saying is we need to revisit our curriculum and revisit our teachers to empower them so they can be with the program. You students, please, here's the message, unfortunately for you. Please, we're saying to you, don't show me your certificate. Show me what you can do. Don't tell me, I have a BSc from GZU. I have a PhD from Harvard. I have an MBA from NAST. I could care less. Show me what you can do. So in addition to getting the little degree that Nyambia is giving you, that Chikwana is giving you, and Jopo is giving you, in addition to that little degree, make sure you master some skills and competencies that Econet is looking for, that CBZ is looking for, that industry is looking for. Skills, competencies, and capabilities are more important than your certificate. Please. Get your little degree, but please master some skills. What are these skills? Problem-solving skills, critical thinking, learning how to learn, learning how to unlearn and relearn, financial literacy, digital skills, AI skills, entrepreneurial skills, knowledge of self. Knowledge of self is the beginning of wisdom. Are they giving you knowledge of self at GZU? Mindset shift. We want a can-do mentality. We want possibility thinkers. We want self-confident people, self-effect, self-aware, assertive, and self-belief. And here's the hard one, resilience. Now, resilience can only come out of failure. Resilience can only come out of adversity, out of pain. So I wish you pain. I wish you failure. Failure is good. I don't go looking for it. But when it does happen to you, when failure comes to you, when adversity comes to you, when pain comes to you, ask yourself, what am I supposed to learn from this pain? How can I become a better person because of this adversity? Because from pain, from adversity, from failure, you're going to gain resilience. So please, Professor Zogo, you must make sure that here at GZU, we have knowledge of self. We have self-awareness among the students. We have self-belief. We have resilience. But more importantly, here is the message to GZU. The curriculum must be changed. For every student at GZU, you must take financial literacy as a mandatory subject. You must take entrepreneurship as a mandatory subject. Digital skills as mandatory. AI skills as mandatory. I could care less whether you're studying vet science, engineering, sociology, Shona, Debele, law. You must have entrepreneurship, financial literacy, digital skills, and AI skills as mandatory subjects in preparation. This is how Africa can embrace the AI revolution. And in any case, the skills are dying. It's called the half-life of skills. It's now less than 2 years. What does it mean? Your PhD from Harvard, your master's from GZU, the knowledge, half of it will disappear in 2 years. In 2 years, your skills and knowledge becomes obsolete. Mapazwa, Professor Musengi makaita rini PhD. Zvakasobuda musoro kudhara. Here's an illustration. Let's assume that you are a PhD from MIT in the year 2000. MIT is the top engineering school in the world. We'll put you in a room and say, come out, PhD from MIT. Can you Google? Can you tweet? Can you join my WhatsApp group? After 20 years being locked up, the PhD from MIT in computer science, you say, what do you mean join WhatsApp group? What do you mean by tweet? Because in the year 2000, there was no WhatsApp group. There was no tweeting. So it means that the MIT PhD in computer science, if they don't continuously learn, they become obsolete. They become moribund. They become decadent. So we must continuously learn and continuously improve. Here at GZU and everywhere. We can learn from World Forum. These are the skills you need. We can share this later. We are now pushing employability as opposed to long-term employment. We are pushing entrepreneurship. The Great Zimbabwe University must measure how employable are your graduates and how many of them are entrepreneurs who can create companies. That's what is important now. And we can see for the financial sector, I know you have the business school is here. We are moving to fintech. We're moving from fintech. We're moving to the digital bank. So here are your jobs which are going to be destroyed in the financial sector. Here are the jobs which are transformed in the financial sector. Here are your jobs that are created for your banking sector. You as the leaders of business must understand it. Destroyed jobs, modified and created in the financial sector. How do we embrace this? We need to organize ourselves. We must deploy AI, we must create AI systems, we must play in the hardware, we must increase our circle of control. However, we must not put the cart before the horse, please. Foundational matters, awareness about AI, basic infrastructure, energy, digital infrastructure, connectivity, internet connectivity, compute resources, data, financial resources, talent. You can't do AI without these things. Let's fix this in Africa. You need AI governance and regulations, AI ecosystem, organizational preparedness. We need all these things as we prepare for AI. Energy is a major issue. Why don't we learn from the Chinese? Look at the Chinese, how they're creating energy. In Zimbabwe, we have a deficit. In South Africa, a deficit. That's why we're doing load shedding. Make up your mind. Do you love load shedding or do you love AI? You can't have both. Choose. If you love load shedding and you keep load shedding, you can't do AI with load shedding. We must close the gap in Zimbabwe, close the gap in South Africa, close the gap in Zambia if we're going to do AI. These AI systems require so much energy. If we take all the data centers in the world and make them a country, in 2030, their energy requirements will only be number 4 after China, the US, and India. AI is a big demander of energy. These data centers are energy hungry. AI is not it's not a silver bullet. They invest in you. AI haikwani. Zimbabwe, wake up. AI won't solve all your problems. You must address the basics. We want effective and good country governance. You can't do AI without good country governance. We want accountability and transparency in Africa. We can't do AI without accountability and transparency. We must eliminate corruption. Make up your choice. Do you love corruption or do you love AI? You can't have both. You must eliminate corruption to embrace AI. We must deepen the democratic space. Free and fair elections are important in Zimbabwe, in Malawi, in Africa. We must have a shared national vision, a shared economic strategy, a shared implementation matrix. We must do things, beneficiation and value addition. We are saying, please, Zimbabwe, please, Africa, you can't AI your way out of everything. AI is but one aspect. You must address the foundational matters in Zimbabwe. Professor Jobo, tell them in Harare, you can't AI your way out of everything. You must address the foundational matters for AI to take off in Africa, for AI to take off in Zimbabwe, in South Africa. We must look at what we need to do in the country, what we do at SADC, and what we do in the continent. Country level, regional level, Africa level, and they must talk to each other. What are we saying? We need a national AI vision, a national AI strategy, a national AI implementation matrix in every country, at SADC, at ECOWAS, at East African Community, in Maghreb, and more importantly, at AU level. And the three must talk to each other. And of course, we need policy, governance, and legislation. That's how we embrace the AI revolution in Africa. Governance and regulations are required. As we get towards the end, we want to have a sense of the examples of applications of AI in every sector in Africa. Agriculture. Make sure my sound is ready over there.
Your farm looks like a sci-fi movie. You're in the future of agriculture. The AI in agriculture market is booming, going from $1.7 billion in 2023 to nearly $9 billion.
We can use AI to do our harvesting using robots. We can use drones for spraying and spreading.
Or in the agriculture industry, growers, ranchers, academics, to bring about better, faster, and healthier workflows and yields.
Remember, unfortunately, the same drones in agriculture are the drones in Ukraine, the drones in Gaza.
Known about the event, except that Israel used the swarm attack to strike dozens of targets, together with other missiles and munitions. Most media outlets reported this as an attack with multiple drones at once, but military experts believe that this was a true drone swarm attack, meaning that the drones communicated and collaborated in making collective.
AI is a double-edged sword. You can use AI to build, you can use AI to destroy and kill. You saw that bomber there, B-2. This is the bomber that went into Iran to destroy the nuclear sites. There was a commander, there was a pilot. In future, this machine is going to be without a pilot, without a commander. It will be autonomous. It's worth $2.4 billion. So they're spending $2.4 billion on one machine to kill. Why don't you spend $2.4 billion to remove people out of poverty? That's our African ambition, not this one, but we must understand it to exist.
Warplane ever made. It's invisible to radar, and it can deliver a nuclear strike without being seen. This is the B-2 Ghost Bomber, the crown jewel of U.S. air dominance.
Okay, let's go to positive things. Agriculture, mining, predictive equipment, maintenance, mineral exploration, autonomous drilling. All these applications are available in mining. We're a mining country. Crushing optimization, stockpile planning and optimization, grinding circuit optimization, flotation optimization. That's mining for you. Infrastructure. Remember, Africa needs the infrastructure. We can use AI to drive that. Smart traffic management, predictive maintenance, automated construction, energy efficiency, damage detection. And again, we learn from China.
57 kilometers of highway, 10 AI-powered machines, human supervisors watching from control rooms. China just achieved the world's first semi-autonomous paving operation, and the implications are massive. The machines make thousands of decisions independently, while humans monitor every move.
Okay, you can use the drones to build your bridges. Infrastructure. Energy. AI demands a lot of energy, but you can use AI to manage and create energy. So it's a double-edged sword, but you can use it to generate energy.
Machines of artificial intelligence and machine learning for power generation. Hello, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we will discuss an exciting topic, applications of artificial intelligence and machine learning for power generation. With the world's increasing demand for energy, the power generation industry is constantly looking for innovative ways to improve efficiency, reduce costs, and minimize environmental impact. AI and machine learning are offering new possibilities to achieve these goals. AI and machine learning are revolutionizing the power generation industry by enabling advanced optimization.
Okay, we can use it for renewable. I'm just trying to make sure you have a sense.
Renewable energy sector in incredible ways. Imagine using AI for predictive maintenance, analyzing data from wind turbines or solar panels to foresee issues before they happen, saving time and money.
Okay, for cleaning panels, energy management, and then we can also use it in health, diagnosis, personalized treatment, mental health, drug discovery, lots of applications of AI. This is how Africa can embrace it by using it in health and well-being, by using it in research.
AI is transforming every aspect of healthcare. From guiding patients effortlessly through their
Main applications, manufacturing, again, so many applications that we can have in manufacturing. We are talking about how Africa can embrace the AI revolution. They can do that in manufacturing.
The future of manufacturing. Enter generative AI. Trend 1, predictive maintenance, saving factories from unexpected breakdowns. 2, quality inspection, no faulty products slipping through. 3, demand forecasting, producing only what's needed.
Main applications, and then driverless cars. We must change our laws to allow technology to move. We already have driverless cars.
The Waymo driverless car. Wow. What a crazy futuristic looking deal. Now, this is based on an iPace. We obviously have tons of cameras as well. Ready for pickup. And I've got a button that says unlock.
Okay, we can also have driverless trucks.
Fear of a large truck barreling down the highway, carrying a heavy load and without a driver's handle, steering wheel may seem strange and even frightening to some. Well, in China, that's exactly what's now being tested. Along certain routes, driverless lorries are being allowed to operate under supervision. When it comes to smaller delivery vans, they're already sharing the streets with human-controlled vehicles. I'll try and find whether Stephen McDonald reports.
These trucks are driving on a public road without a human being behind the wheel. Driving transport companies for the AI.
Okay, education. Professors and students. AI has a big impact on what's called personalized learning, automatic grading system, virtual tutors, and predictive analytics. But in particular, the big personalization. For every teacher, fake AI teaching assistant. You know, that is to you as Busengi, to you as Nyambia. Your strengths, your weaknesses. We design a unique teaching assistant for you as Dr. Nyambia. For every student here, you're going to have a unique AI personal tutor who knows your strengths but who knows your weaknesses and hence is able to amplify your performance. A unique AI personal tutor for every student. So for 40 teachers, we have 40 unique AI assistants. For 30 students, 30 unique AI personal tutors. If we have a professor of chemistry, 3 of them, each one with a different AI teaching assistant. Because one professor might be very strong in terms of organic chemistry and inorganic, and very poor in terms of physical chemistry. So the AI will compensate for that. Another teacher might be very strong on physical chemistry and weak on organic. So each of the 3 chemistry professors with a different and unique teaching assistant. It's called personalization. Okay?
Welcome to our channel. In this video, we will talk about the use of artificial intelligence in education. As technology continues to advance, we are seeing more and more ways in which AI is being used to enhance the learning experience.
In this video, we will explore some of the ways in which AI is being used in education, as well as the potential benefits and challenges of using AI in the classroom. One of the ways in which AI is being used in education is through personalized learning. With personalized learning, AI algorithms are used to analyze a student's performance and provide customized lesson plans and recommendations for what the
You have a sense of that. But we have a problem now, professors. There's a study at MIT that is saying those who are using a lot of ChatGPT are losing critical thinking. They're not learning anything. What do we do? And by the way, forget banning. You can't ban technology. You can't ban ChatGPT. Just ask yourself, how can I be effective when ChatGPT exists? Remember mathematics. When the calculator came through, I'm sure the math teacher was very upset. How can you have a machine? But they became creative. They created a question, a math question, which required 2 pages of analysis until you get to the stage where you can use your calculator. They were able to change the teaching methods, to change the way they test, so that even with your calculator, you're going to think. That's why you can go into an O-level exam, mathematics, and get an F with your calculator. You go into an examination, an A-level math exam with your calculator and get a fat F. Because the math has become sophisticated to ensure that it's not enough to have a calculator. You must understand your stuff. That's your charge, Nyambia. Allow them to use ChatGPT, but you become creative so that even if the student is deploying ChatGPT, Grok 4, and you are so sophisticated in the way you test, so that they'll still learn, they'll still have critical thinking. Don't ban ChatGPT, become creative. So Masamba Asia na in the academy. But Professor Moto Tanga Kungwarangwara. It can't be business as usual. Here's my suggestion to you, for example. You give homework to your part 2 students, part 4 students. It could be a lab, could be an essay, could be whatever, and tell them, here is the question for your homework. But go and say, use ChatGPT, go use Grok 4, go use AI. But I want to see the questions you give the AI system. What you feed in there to get your answer. I want to look at it. And I'll grade that. They're called prompts. I want to see the prompts you give the AI system. And I will analyze and see whether they were thought through carefully. And I'll mark that out of 20. You see, you're being creative now because you're saying, here's the question, go use AI, but when you bring them back, I want to see the prompts. The prompts are the things you give the AI system to give you the answer. I want to see that. Those graders or nice those. Number 2, I want to see the answer you got the AI system. Give me the answer. And I'll put 40% on that, because that's the answer, right? I put 40% there. It's correct. Then, here's the kicker. I want you to criticize and critique that answer from AI. Tell me why it is faulty. Tell me its limitations. Now you can see that for you to do that, because AI is very good, for you to provide a critique to the answer you get from an AI system, you got to use your brain to challenge the answer from AI. I want to see that critique. And then after that, I want you to improve the answer from the AI system. Nyambia, do that, and you are happy it is at you. You know why? If you are very good at using AI and giving prompts, so your prompts are perfect, you get your 20. Your answer is perfect, you're at 60. If you don't know how to critique, you get 0 out of 20. Know how to critique, so you're at 60% with AI alone. So you don't get a first class, you won't get a upper second, you won't get a low, you get a third. So we are saying without critical thinking, you will never make it into a lower second. You never make it into a second class upper. You never make it into a first class. It's just one way that Professor Mutambara is telling you to teach. Maybe I should come and teach myself here.
No scorners. Anyway, it's just a suggestion. All I'm saying is, you can't teach business as usual, my brother, business, you go. Because AI no pama answer essay. Apana chinofundwa. But if you are saying, okay, go and use AI, but do zoka kuti, wakaitaurire kuti iko AI yacho, wakaivunza, wakaipe kuti, dokuzona. Number 2, zveka kubikira izvozvo as an answer, tipe tione. Then number 3, chiti criticize challenge AI iwewe. And then I want to see an improvement on the AI answer. I'm saying that it cannot be business as usual in the academy. You must be creative as a teacher, as a professor, for you to embrace. This is what Africa needs to do to embrace the AI revolution. And you can see critical thinking here is in charge of 60, because even the prompts require thinking. So in this questioning framework, critical thinking constitutes 60. So AI has not killed the critical thinking. AI has protected it, but it can't be business as usual. Another one, hey, let them do the homework and come with the answers, but defend it. Oh, this is your essay. Can you talk about it, please? Now, if the AI system has done the essay and you can't talk about it, orally defending your outcome, orally defending your report, like we do with the masters, what we do with the PhD, when we do a Viva, when we do our defending of the Viva. And now I always tell a story about my defense of the PhD at Oxford. It also is very brutal. When you go to defend, you dress up in a jacket and tie, and you put in a motorboat, like you're graduating in a gown to defend your PhD. And 2 professors, one from Oxford and one from London or elsewhere, will sit there to discuss to do your Viva. And the question goes like, Mr. Emphasis on Mr. because you're not doctor yet. Mr. Mutambara, what are you saying here which has never been said before? That's always the standard question for a PhD, because a PhD is about extending the frontiers of knowledge. And these guys asking you are the experts in the field, so you can't BS them. They know the stuff. What are you saying, Professor Mr. Mutambara, which has never been said before? You know, I was ready for that question because I knew it's coming. And they had a copy of my PhD. I have my own copy. I didn't open mine. I started singing. Number 1, I'm talking about a contribution to knowledge. When I got to 4, this other guy was overly off the cuff like that. He was over, and I knew I got my PhD in the first 20 seconds. Why? Because I'm a political gangster. I know how to present. Did you know that they are dealing with a gangster from the streets? So I got my PhD in the first 30 seconds without opening mine, because I knew what was in there. That's what we need to do in the AI revolution. The student must know the content of the assignment. They must defend it verbally. We're talking about how we can make sure that AI does not destroy critical thinking. Okay? You know, AI can also be applied in politics and governance, policy analysis. All these things can be done using AI.
Artificial intelligence in politics and governance are diverse and rapidly evolving. Key areas include policy analysis and decision making, where AI can analyze vast amounts of data to guide policymakers. Public opinion monitoring uses natural language processing to analyze public sentiment on social.
So many applications in policy and governance, data-driven decisions. Governance zvekutonga zvinosotwa neAI. Nemunoiziya here. Muchida kutonga, you need AI. Handizvo? Dai Mutambara amutaurire. Handizvo here Nyambia? Financial sector, many applications. Fraud detection, customer service, many applications from AI.
Okay.
Future with generative AI in banking. 1. Personalized banking experiences. Think chatbots predicting your next purchase. 2. Fraud detection. Imagine AI spotting irregularities before you do. 3. Credit scoring. AI assessing your financial habits. 4. Algorithmic trading. AI.
Tourism and hospitality, many applications there. No sector, maybe that's what I should simply say. There's no sector which is not touched by AI. Every sector you can think of, the applications. That's how we can embrace it in Africa. Every sector is affected by AI. Every sector. As we conclude, Dr. Nyambia, embracing AI revolution demands a writing culture. Please, professors, please, students, Africans must contribute to AI thought leadership. This is how we embrace the AI revolution as Africans. We must write. We must be leaders in thought leadership. We must be contributing to the thinking and the directional avenues of AI. That's what we are trying to do. All the things I talked about in here are in the book, AI, a driver of inclusive development and shared prosperity for the global south. Some of the ideas are in there. We must write. In that book, we learn from 10 case studies. I have Zimbabwe, my favorite country, South Africa, Rwanda, Kenya, and Mauritius. Then I have China, India, Malaysia, Singapore, and UAE as case studies. I look at 11 key economic sectors. I look at extensive use cases in there. We are saying the African must be participating in thought leadership. For example, we can learn a lot from UAE. UAE has a Minister of AI. The first one in the world, Minister of AI. Most of you in this country have AI sitting in ICT. Aiwa, AI, Akaska Muzuguru ICT, AI Chibaba on their own. You must say the minister who goes to cabinet to talk and speak AI and report to the president. That's all they should do. Now in the world, we have about 4 to 5 countries now copying UAE. The Arabs are doing very well, and Rwanda has done very well in terms of thought leadership. We are talking about how Africa can embrace AI. Let us learn from each other. Learn from Kenya, learn from Rwanda. South Africa is behind. They're a big economy, but in thought leadership, Rwanda is number 1, followed by Kenya. Again, another book. We're talking now about the SDGs, our book launch from last night. Africans must write. You see, some of them are political. And I know you're worried about politics, you little ones. I am at 9 books. It's publish or perish. 5 engineering books and 3 political ones. So professors will go tell them in Harare that Mutambara says, I'm more of a rocket scientist than a political gladiator. 5 versus 3. So don't be worried. He's a rocket scientist, not so much a political gladiator. Because if you look at his record, it's 5 versus 3. So please, calm down. But I hope those because I retired, by the way, Chikwana. Ndaka-retire. Ndakasirwa mwafana. I hope varikugona. Because vakatadza ndinodzoka as a gladiator. Anyway, my record shows that I'm more of an engineer than a politician. So please, we must rise. It is publish or perish. The AI revolution requires thought leaders. We must write. It is publish or perish. We need both a writing culture
and the reading culture. Sandonyoraba munaerengawo futhi. Hey, there are good books there to read. The Commonwealth, we spoke about that. Genesis, we introduced. It's got an interesting book, Nexus. Rekes is very good, this guy predicting technologies. This thing about singularity, he predicted it and all that. He is a good writer and a predictor of technology. The NVIDIA way, the biggest company in the world, if you want to understand them, and him, Jensen himself, how do they think, these people? And there are people who are worried about AI. Rachel Adams is one of them. He feels that it's a new empire of AI. So you must read that and understand that. What are we saying? For us to understand why embrace the AI revolution and how we must have urgency. We must make AI work for us. We must use AI as part of an ecosystem of technologies. We must use AI to solve our political and economic problems. We must embrace AI, we must leverage AI, and doing so is not a nice to have, it's an existential matter. We're saying, adopt AI or die. This embracing of AI will rise or fall on leadership, political leadership, economic leadership, business leadership, civic society leadership, academic leadership, leadership in building things, leadership in adopting and creating AI. This is how we can do it in Africa. We need political leadership. We need academic leadership. Embracing AI in Africa is not a nice to have. It is an existential matter. Adopt AI or die. That's our message to Zimbabwe. That's our message to Africa. I've tried today to discuss the why and the how in terms of Africa embracing the AI revolution. I know today we have many young people in here today. It's a public lecture dominated by students. I want you to always remember, as you succeed in your careers, that we must all work together to build Africa. We must all work together to make sure there's collective success. Collective success is more important than individual success. Yes, become a short caller, a bowler in terms of engineering, in terms of law, in terms of medicine. But always remember, you have a duty and obligation to make sure Mashingo succeeds, to make sure Zimbabwe succeeds, to make sure Africa does well. We're talking about Africa today. We are all judged by the success or lack of it of Mashingo. We are all judged by the success or lack of it of Zimbabwe. We are all judged by the success or lack of it of Africa. Even in America, Oprah Winfrey, Barack Obama, Michael Jordan are judged by the success of the average black person. In America, the young black males are in prison, parole, a third of them are in prison, parole, or probation. The ghetto is black. Why would I respect Obama? Why would I respect Oprah Winfrey or Michael Jordan? They'll never be respected in America until black people in America have done well. The collective success of the black people in America is more important than the individual success of Oprah Winfrey or the individual success of Barack Obama. The black person in America must succeed for the black business person to be respected, for a black president in America to be respected. We must make sure we achieve collective success. You young people, you must make sure you do all you can
to make Zimbabwe successful, to make sure Africa does succeed. Learn it from me. I used to go, I was a young global leader, used to go to the World Economic Forum and keep talking. You know, I love talking, as you can see, talking loud. And they say, hey, Mutambara, professor, very interesting, very good stuff. Where are you from? I refuse to answer. I say, I went to Oxford, I'm a Rhodes Scholar, I went to MIT, I worked for McKinsey. No, professor. Those are schools, those are jobs that you did. Which country? I refuse to answer. I keep dilly-dallying and vitiating. Eventually I get tired. Then I say, I'm from Zimbabwe. And they say, ah, come on, Professor Mutambara. If you are so bright, if you are so intelligent, how come your country is messed up? Mutambara, if you are so smart, how come there's cholera in Harare? Mutambara, you are no rock star. You are no superstar. You see Yambia, you see Chikwana, you see Zobo in absentia. My rock star status, my superstardom is undermined by the bankruptcy of my country. I'll never be respected as a Zimbabwean until Zimbabwe is a superstar economy. Take it further. I'll never be respected as an African until Africa is a superstar continent. If African is flourishing, collective success is more important than individual success. So you young people, take it personally. You'll never be a superstar until the African economy is a superstar economy. I thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you, Prof. Okay, let's give another round of applause to the professor once again. When I was at UZ, I used to hate lectures, and I would skip as many as I could. But this one was quite an interesting lecture. I want to try to summarize what Professor has said. In fact, the audio of my AI was on, and at the end I asked it, can you summarize what Prof. Mutambara said? And it said, sorry, it's beyond my current scope. Let's talk about something else. Thank you so much, Prof. Can I have two roving mics who would like to go into a question and answer session? Prof, can you take it in rounds of 3? Yeah, we can take it in rounds of 3. So can I have our ushers and mics? Let us also remember that we've got questions that might come from the auditorium to my right and to my left. So those who have questions, let us show by raising our hands. I note four hands in here. Maybe let's start right at the back end here.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Professor, for such an insightful presentation.
Sorry to interrupt. I think let us just introduce ourselves as we pose the question. You can proceed.
Okay, thank you so much. I answer to the name Blessing Chijande, media student part 22. Thank you for that insightful presentation, Professor. My first question is, you said AI is the economy, and the economy is AI. You also talked about the GDP, and I was so much worried about Zimbabwe. So my question is, what are the main barriers currently preventing the widespread of AI adoption in the African countries? Then my second question, you said you're a political gangster. I'm also a political gangster. So my question is, we complain so much about politics of the country. How can we use AI in the political sphere to stabilize the economy? Thank you so much.
Thank you. The other hands that were up. And please let us make our questions brief as possible.
Thank you very much, Professor. My name is Leonard Zawani. I'm very much concerned. You have been at the government from 2009 to 2018. What is it that you have done that create a little bit of conducive atmosphere for us Zimbabweans to embrace this AI, to ensure that we have got, I think you've mentioned about fundamentals which are critical to ensure that we embrace AI as Africa. I think we have to start with Zimbabwe because this is our country. Professor, what is it that you have done and how those hurdles be handled for us to have a proper conducive atmosphere in Zimbabwe?
Thank you. The last end up for this round.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Mutambara, for the marathon and interesting lecture. My name is Dr. Nixon. My question is, how can African languages, values, knowledge system be integrated into the AI models to avoid the Western bias? Thank you.
Thank you. Let me revenge now and say, Mutambara, can you answer the question? You were saying it quite frequently.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for those questions. I'll be very brief so I can take more. The key barriers are the lack of a legislative framework, a lack of a policy framework, a lack of an AI vision, a lack of an AI strategy, a lack of an AI implementation matrix. Those things are missing in many countries. Zimbabwe is one of them. I know the ministry is working on a vision and a strategy to be launched. There's some ideas on policy, but they've not done enough. Rwanda has done most of the things. Kenya has done most of the things. So the barrier is creating the framework. Policy, legislation, vision, strategy, implementation matrix. And also awareness is important. Digital infrastructure is important. Without connectivity, you can't do AI. So those are the barriers to the adoption in Africa. Applications of AI in the economy. I spoke about that. Applications of AI in politics and governance. I spoke about that. And maybe I can share some of those slides with Nyambia. There are many applications of AI in politics, in governance, in elections. So you can use AI to advance and improve the quality of governance in Zimbabwe, the quality of elections. You can use blockchain to mitigate and manage rigging. It can be done using AI. Okay, so many applications, I won't spend time on that. I'll just share the slides from that. You mentioned that you were in government in 2009. Let me emphasize, yes, I was running the country. Lest you forget, there was President Mugabe, Prime Minister Changirai, and yours truly, Deputy Prime Minister. We're triumphant. The three of us were running the country. Now, just imagine, Mugabe is over there, Changirai is over here, Mutambara is here, they're discussing who is going to dominate. The professor. So 5 years I was in charge of the country, and the country was doing reasonably well.
Yeah, you forgot to say that, so I will say it on your behalf. What have I done? I'm doing awareness of the technology. This lecture is an example of my contribution to Zimbabwe. We're trying to raise awareness about the technology. We've done it at HIT. That's why I said we are now graduating you, we are renaming you the greatest university of Zimbabwe. Because you are bold. UZ has not done that. They are afraid of Mutambara. NAST have not done that. They are scared. And GZU is bold to bring Mutambara to discuss AI. So I want to help. Some people are scared. They see a rat and a mouse behind every bush. Mutambara arikuta zve AI asi kuwandira power here. Asi kudzoka mupolitics here. Vanotya Mutambara. Saka, my brother, I can do more if you're not scared. Tell them Mutambara is ready to help, but you are scared of Mutambara. Embrace Mutambara. For technology. I'm doing a lot in industry, advising corporates. Yesterday I was advising a financial sector entity for 2 hours. I'm doing the private sector. The minister came to my book launch, the first one, and I was also in Victoria Falls with the minister. So I'm trying to influence government policy around AI. So I'm trying as much as I can. But vanhu vacho vanoda kubatsirwa vanotya. Chienda tori kugangster iwewe ndona wataurira kuti musatya Mutambara une mazano AI anosimudze nyika. Wapazwa? Wazoti ziwa kutya manje. African values are very important. African languages in AI. We must build AI systems and put our values into those systems. We must use our Shona, our Ndebele in AI systems so that ChatGPT, Grok 4 type technologies can speak to us in our own languages. Right now, even GPS cannot pronounce the name of our roads. You know? So the GPS we're using is not even African. GPS. Inotaura kuti famba so. Inotaura ngechingezi cheku Silicon Valley. Why? So I'm agreeing with the questioner to say it is important that we put African values into AI systems. We use our African languages into these systems to make them useful to us. So we have our work cut out for us, Nyambia, to make sure that we build AI systems that take cognizance of our values, that use our languages. So thank you very much for those. I'll take another set.
Thank you. Maybe let me take the last three before we go to the other two auditoriums. Yeah.
All protocols observed. My question is directed to you.
Introduction, please.
My name is Ebru Bababam. I'm a law student at the Ebru Law School, the iconic law school. My question is directed to you on the basis that you are coming from Manicaland, and I'm here holding 6 buses from Manicaland to come to Masvingo, selling my own kidney to pay fees, to pay rent house here in Masvingo. What plan do you have for Manicaland? Because as we speak right now, our villagers are wallowing not only in actual poverty, but in also intellectual poverty. First question. Second question, are you prepared? Because I believe that this country is under the hands of lawyers. I won't mention them, but I might be one of them. So, are you prepared to provide mentorship, hands-on mentorship to law students, which I represent, because I firmly believe that everything begins and ends with the law. Lastly, I also want to acknowledge this. My name is, I call myself village advocate because I advocate for the rural people who consist 67% of the total population of Zimbabwe, which I think they are nowhere near here at this university, which I think also we are representing. But the rural, this AI, how shall it going to resonate with the rural populace, which is the majority of the population? And I will also not quote section 20, subsection 1, paragraph A to E of the Constitution. But you, Parliament, how are you going to deepen the scope? Because this generation, in all honest terms, they know the story. I want say it here for strategic reasons, maybe for security reasons. Lastly, we have an AI club at our university, at our law school, and I'm one of its members. Thank you very much for coming with AI. I hope that AI is going to help us. For the sake of this, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Mutambara. Quite a vibrant follower of Pan-Africanism that is quite productive. I could hear in Kuruma in you when you were talking about the United States of Africa. And that is wonderful. Linking it to AI. Then my questions are like this. Do you have any influence or connectivity with African regional bodies under what we call regional integration, like ECOWAS, COMESA, SADC, you go on and the like, East community and the like, so that you can actually have a better voice to lobby for the AI issue, including even AU, African Unity. Then my second one is on corruption. If you look at Africa, staggering as it is, Zimbabwe included. For those who are ahead with the use of AI, are we not likely to be cornered through corruption when people use AI to those who are said to be semi-literate or even illiterate as far as AI is concerned? And lastly, this one here goes to you are as a gangster. I love that statement. Gangsters are very critical in society. Not only in Zimbabwe, a gangster in Africa. Don't you consider yourself, given the future of knowledge here in Zimbabwe, to actually become a leader, whether a president or a prime minister, depending on the constitution, so that you can influence others during AU or these other regional bodies meetings, so that AI removes a number of people from abject poverty into super riches. Thank you. I am Mukusha, I am a philosopher.
All protocols of the marathon, I'm coming from CC. So, just been thinking, after all this whole AI discussion that you gave us, very good, and I've just realized all the technological devices that we all have in here, it's either Chinese or any other country. And to think of that, we actually don't even have one of our own technological innovations that we have done as a country. And yeah, we have a few as an African. So for maybe, are we not supposed to, for us to be at the IA level of developing this whole AI thing, are we not supposed to have the basic starting ground for us to maybe, can we not find a way, we need to find a way on this whole AI development thing. We need to, are we not supposed to start maybe from our own technological investment, our own laptops? If we were to look at it in here, we all have a Chinese laptop, and it's a process for you, most of the devices, it's a process for you to transform them to use the English language. We have a lot of talent in Zimbabwe. And those talents is being transferred to other countries. And those very same Zimbabweans are the ones who are creating all these laptops that you currently have. Are we not supposed to, starting at a point where we have our own technological school to produce this whole laptops and everything? Are we not supposed to first look at all that so we are going to be able to develop the whole AI thing? Thank you.
Thank you. Prof, over to you.
Thank you very much. I will try to be brief so I can take more of your questions. From the iconic law school, if you are iconic, are you producing a smart contract lawyer? Does your professor know about the metaverse? Does your professor know about blockchain? Please don't rush to call yourself iconic. We must make sure that you call yourself iconic as long as you have adopted AI. I'm just teasing you that the iconic law school must make sure its professors are iconic in terms of AI. We need to make sure that the teachers in the law school understand the importance of AI in producing lawyers that are relevant for the AI revolution. Lawyers who can give us legislation for AI. Manicaland, you're from Manicaland. I don't care about Manicaland. I'm national, I'm Pan-African. I care about Africa. Not Manicaland. Don't put me in a box. I'm too big for a box. I'm Mutambara from Zimbabwe. I'm Mutambara the African. Forget Manicaland. That's our problem. We must think about Africa as the beginning and the end. We must be able to say, I'm an African first, a season of Sadak second, and Zimbabwean third, Zakwana, Zapera. Continent, region, country. Forget the province. I'm Mutambara, who is about Africa. I'm Mutambara, who is about the continent. That's why my topic is why and how can Africa, not Manicaland, Africa, embrace the AI revolution? That's where we are. Once we solve Zimbabwe, we solve Manicaland. Once we solve Africa, we solve Manicaland. But we start with Africa, and we are obsessed with Africa. That's where it ends and where it begins. Lawyers are running, that's the problem. We have too many lawyers doing things around. We need engineers running the country. We need physicists running the country. We need medical doctors running the country. We need chemists running the country. Too many lawyers everywhere. Not a good idea. You want the evidence? Go to China. The last 5 presidents of China were engineers, civil engineer, mechanical engineer, electrical engineer. Those engineers have produced China to be number 2 economy in the world at $19 trillion GDP. Go and look at what's called the Standing Committee of the Politburo in China. Lots of engineers. I'm not running down the lawyers. I'm saying, in addition to the lawyers, let's have some physicists. In addition to the lawyers, let's have the medical doctors. In addition to the lawyers, let's have the engineers running Mashingo, running their country. Because we're taught to be structured in our thinking as engineers. We build systems, we build rockets, we build complicated things. Running a country is trivial to an engineer. Tell that to the lawyers. Professor Mutambara said, running the country is trivial. Why are you failing, comrade lawyer? Listen,
we need a diverse set of skills. The lawyers, the historians, sociologists, let's have a mixture. But I have evidence that the engineers are doing better than the lawyers globally. AI and the law, very important. Number one, we need legislation to enable AI. If I bring a driverless car to Masvingo, can I use it? Because the laws in Masvingo do not recognize a driverless car as a car. So I can't use it. So the lawyers must help us to anticipate technology and come up with the regulations and the laws required to enable the uptake of technology. The lawyers are critical. Lawyers who are tech savvy. Lawyers, and remember, by the way, what we want now in the AI revolution, we want what we call Renaissance men and women. A lawyer who understands technology, a lawyer who understands medicine, a lawyer who understands a bit of physiology, and an engineer who understands history, an engineer who can do some bookkeeping, an engineer who understands the law, an engineer who understands the constitution, who can distinguish between constitutionalism and constitutionality. This engineer can distinguish that. I saw some lawyers trying to be judges of the High Court, and they asked, can you explain to us the difference between constitutionalism and constitutionality? And they couldn't. And I hope they're not coming from the iconic school. This humble engineer can distinguish between constitutionalism and constitutionality. This engineer is a Renaissance man. What we want in the AI revolution are Renaissance men and women. Don't be narrow, be broad. The broad, the better. You remember the phrase that says, don't be a jack of all trades and master of none. That's what we want, jack of all trades now. All this master stuff, we don't want it. Silos. I'm a business major, I'm an accountant. All you know is accounting. Useless. We want an accountant who appreciates constitutionalism, an accountant who appreciates AI, an accountant who appreciates biology, an accountant who understands a bit of vet science. That's the accountant we want in the AI revolution. We want a vet doctor who understands the law, a vet doctor who talks about accounting, the vet doctor who can speak about the Constitution. Please, as you study here at GZU, try to be versatile, try to be broad. You know, Chikwana, 35 years ago, 1990, when I graduated, already I had seen the wisdom of this. I didn't know it was called Renaissance men and women. I didn't know the language, but I was working it. I was doing electrical engineering. But I spent that time in the law school with Guto and Makamuri, understanding the Constitution, debating with Maduku and Gwisai. Gwisai was my Secretary General in the Union. So I was walking the talk of being a Renaissance man in the year 1990. To the extent that when I graduated, there was a very interesting story. I don't know whether some of you remember who were with me graduating. You know, when Mugabe was going to cap me, I did want to be kept by Mugabe because I felt that it was a travesty of justice to be graduating when there are no jobs. So I refused to bow down because you're supposed to go on your knees. I said, I'm not going to do that to Mugabe. I was radical then. I'm sure now I'm a softie. A gov is a gov. Stand up gov. Gov was in the Students' Union dream. Stand up Gov. Govera. These were the soldiers in 1990 with me. I don't know whether they have soldiers anymore in the academy now. Who were soldiers. So my position was, I'm not going to bow down before this man because the country has no jobs. I'm going to walk. And so I walked up there. Mugabe had to stand up because I'm very tall. Mutambara, what is it now? Yeah, Mutambara. So he stood up, forced my head down, and forced me down violently. And then, of course, I had made my point. Now the media, now the Herald was confused.
or they were not confused, I don't know. They wrote an article, go and check it out. And they said, the controversial SRC president was kept 3 times. And they didn't explain what happened. So a rumor went around the country that Mutambara got 3 degrees. 1 in engineering, 1 in law, and 1 in history. And I said, thank God for the rumors. And I never corrected them. Anyway, what I'm saying is, the broader, the better. Yes, pursue engineering, but understand what they're doing in the law school, what they're doing in history. Pursue history, but understand what they're doing in engineering, what they're doing in the law, in economics. You'll be a better lawyer if you are abroad. You'll be a better historian if you are abroad. You'll be a better vet doctor if you are abroad. Please become a Renaissance man, become a Renaissance woman. While we're talking about this, the students' union, when someone called me, I'm also a political gangster. Be careful. If you are in the SRC, if you are president, if you are secretary general, and you are making noises and having struggles, and you are coming last in class or getting a sub, I'm not interested. You are not my kind of gangster. I'm not interested in you as a gangster. You are not my friend. I want you to be SRC president and be #1 in class. Then we can talk. I want you to be secretary general of the SRC and be #1 in physics. Then we can have a discourse. Otherwise, you and I are not related. I'm a different kind of gangster. You are not my friend. We want academic excellence and social responsibility. Academic excellence and revolution. Don't talk revolution and getting a lower second and getting a third and failing. You are not a revolutionary. Stop using the term. Also, if you're getting 100%, getting a first class, you're #1 class, and that's all you do. No soccer, no singing in the church, no SRC, no girlfriend, no boyfriend. You are not my friends. I'm not interested in nerds. 100% first class, that's all you do. You are not my friends. You know what? You can never be the CEO of a company if all you know is physics, if all you know is accounts. To be a CEO, to be a president of the university, to be a leader in society, you need to be broad. So your little first class won't take you anywhere if you're a nerd. So please, I don't want to see any nerds. It is at you. If you are #1 in class right now, make sure I play some soccer. Go to church and sing. Okay? Join the SRC. Make some noise. Then we are friends. Others we're not friends. We're in a different world of gangsterism. Now, Kwame Nkrumah, listen, those guys are my great heroes. Kwame Nkrumah, Malcolm X, and Che Guevara. But right now, Pan-Africanism is about existence now. If we don't embrace Pan-Africanism, we're going to be losers of this revolution. We're going to be victims of AI. It's no longer nice to work together. Let's work together. Pan-Africanism, it's about survival. If we don't work together as 1.4 billion Africans, if we don't work together as Africa, we're going to become victims of AI. So I respect Kwame, but I'm saying it's even more important now for us to be Pan-Africanists. It's about existence. Yes, we must work with the regional, and I'm working with SADC, I'm working with East Africa, I'm working with the continent. I'm trying to input, and I'm writing the book. My book is challenging the AU. The AU has not done very well in terms of, and I'm trying to assist them by giving them the wisdom around how to build continent, region, country. So I'm linked into the region, I'm linked into the continent, and I'm trying as far as I can to make a difference there. Corruption of AI, abuse of AI, yes, it can happen. You can use AI for surveillance. Remember, bad actors.
You know, there will be abuse of AI in surveillance against poor people and so on, but let us try to use AI to build. And of course, so the corruption of AI and corruption in general must be stopped, and AI can help us, as I indicated, to stop that. Are you not interested in being president? I told you I retired. And I left the opportunity for others. Ndiri Democrat yakasimba. Ndikati, imi mamuzi zvakawanda chisara muchitonge nyika nomede kuscience. See, if you are telling me, you must tell me, you must be very frank. If you are telling me vandakasira nyembe vari kutadza kutonga, ndiudze ndidzoke. Devices. You are very correct, my sister. We must build things. Beneficiation, value addition. Remember I said leadership in building things. You are very correct. Why can't you have a little phone, Kambudzi, made in Lotito? But you know what the problem is? You are brainwashed. If we produce a little computer or a little cell phone code made in Lotito, you're like, I want an iPhone. You must buy your own products. You know the Japanese, right now, when you say Toyota, when you say Nissan, they're now global brands. Once upon a time, they were crap. I mean, if your grandfather was still around, ask them about in the 40s. If you're driving Toyota, people are laughing, you're driving Toyota, that's Xinjiang, that's poor quality. But they kept at it. Now today, Toyota is the brand. Nissan is the brand. So even if that cell from Lotito is not good quality, let's buy it and develop it. Eventually, it will compete with iPhone. But psychologically, the mindset that the Zimbabwean, the African has is made in Japan is better. Made in America is better. And again, to do beneficiation, you need numbers. The reason why people don't build things, they say there's no market. Let me demonstrate to you that the market is there if we work together. For example, let's talk about cars. If we are to agree and say, Ghana, entirety of Africa, we must buy lorries from Ghana. Uganda must produce a tractor for Africa. We declare at the AU, we're going to buy our lorries from Ghana. We're going to buy our tractors from Uganda. The market will be there. Zimbabwe produces a car for the continent. We declare at the AU for all your government needs. If you are buying a car in Africa, you buy the car from Zimbabwe. Already you have a market. Yeah. We have a truck, a bakkie. South Africa makes a bakkie for Africa. We declare at the AU, you governments from the 55 countries, you need trucks. Don't buy Isuzu, don't buy Toyota, don't buy Ford. Buy the bakkie called Soweto the back. Already there's a market for that back. What I'm saying is, the reason why they don't do it, my sister, is because there's no market unless we work together. If I build a cell phone, for example, we agree, cell phones. We're going to build a cell phone in Zimbabwe, a computer in Malawi, and we say at the AU, all our needs, we buy our cell phone from Zimbabwe. All our needs, we buy our computers from Malawi. Already that cell phone from Zimbabwe will take off because we've got 1.4 billion people buying it. So, yes, we must beneficiate, yes, we must produce devices, but to make it practical, we must work together so that whatever we produce as a phone, whatever we produce as a computer, whatever we produce as a car, has a market of 1.4 billion. That's the Chinese story. The way China does well, whatever they produce, they have 1.4 billion Chinese buying it. They can't go wrong. India, 1.4 billion Indians buying it. So yes to your suggestion, but we must do it. But remember, it will work much better if we are united, if we are working together as a continent to drive the gadgets. You are very correct. In addition to embracing AI, we must also build our own gadgets. We must also participate in the hardware that drives AI. What are called the GPUs, the CPUs, what are called AI factories, right? Strive Masiwa and Cassava have partnered with NVIDIA to bring GPUs into South Africa, Kenya,
Ghana, and Egypt, minus Zimbabwe. And I'm sure Chikwana will explain to you why. Why not Zimbabwe?
Thank you so much, Prof. I won't venture into the explanation. Let me put it on DeepSeek and I'll get the answer from there. I would like to ask to take the last 3 rounds of questions from the auditoriums to my left and to my right, and then we come back in here. Maybe let me have the roving mic in the next auditorium. Do we have any hands up there?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Right. Can we have the questions? Very brief, your introduction first.
All right. My name is Tatenda Chukura. I'm a physics student here at Great Zimbabwe University. I wanted to ask, here in Africa, where I can say academic pursuits are mostly driven, or I can say primarily driven by economic imperative to escape poverty. What can we do to foster, or I can say to instill some passion rather than say like that sort of, I can say a kind of culture that we have in students where they pursue like academic endeavors mostly for monetary gains in a field which seemingly is kind of driven by passion rather than monetary gains. Yes, they may follow at some point in time, like those monetary gains, but it seems to be a field that rewards mostly those who are in it for passion and who really love doing these things. What can we do to kind of instill that kind of passion in students so that they pursue these things with an interest rather than an economic-driven imperative to escape poverty? Thank you.
There's another hand up, and then at the back.
Thank you, Professor Mutambara, for the insightful presentation. My first question is, whilst AI is important and should be embraced by Africa, how can we ensure that assignments and projects presented by students are not plagiarized from AI? In addition, it can take a day or less to produce a master's and PhD thesis using AI. What also can be done by Zimbabwean institutions to detect and prevent plagiarism from AI and ensure academic integrity and honesty? Thank you.
Thank you. Right at the back, there's a hand up.
All right. Thank you, Honorable. I would like to ask about, we have already discussed about this, but you didn't even give the answer yesterday. So what my question was, how best can we apply this on ground? Because actually, yes, we have the action on the paper, but yet we have discussed that the government might not yet approve this, the thing of AI in Zimbabwe, might approve this maybe later, because yet in the government policies to be made, it might take about around 10 years for this AI to be approved in Zimbabwe. And might it not be an issue to the humans that it is going to make humans not having jobs? If you can see that in America, many of them, maybe I can say a few with those robots or with those AI intelligence, they are now richer than those ones with the ones with not the, like, let me just try to explain like this. The other people who are less privileged and who have no access to this AI, and how best can they be helped, and how can they also be involved in this? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Prof.
Thank you very much. Let's start with the last one.
Listen to me very carefully. Don't wait for the government. Go ahead and adopt AI in your own way, in your own company, in your own sector. Don't wait in your own institution, in your own studies. You don't need the government to enable you. Don't look for an excuse. Just do it. The government won't take 10 years. The AI minister is going to announce an AI strategy. This was supposed to be done in September. The minister has a draft. It's done with a team. I don't know how good it is, but it's coming this October, not in 10 years. So the enabling environment, the ideas are coming, but don't wait for them. Go ahead and implement. Where you are, use AI systems. Where you are, build AI systems. Where you are, aspire to be involved in the hardware that drives AI. On jobs, there will be job destruction. Some jobs are going to die. Good news, most jobs won't die, they'll be modified. Even better news, there will be new jobs created. But don't assume that you can take up those jobs if you don't have the skills. But anyway, if our new jobs plus our modified jobs are more than the destroyed, we are on our way to the promised land of AI. AI is good for us. If the new jobs plus the destroyed jobs are more than the destroyed one, then we are good. The poor people, there's a danger that the poor will become poorer and the rich richer. It's a threat, it's a risk. The challenge is, what can we do to mitigate and manage that danger? How do we close that danger to make sure we use AI to take more people out of poverty, to empower more people to do financial inclusion? The danger is there, but it can be mitigated by action. There are many things you can do on the ground. Don't wait for the government. We must close the gap and make sure we mitigate the dangers. Passion is more important than intelligence. That's coming from Einstein. When you are passionate about a subject, you might even do better than the person who's smarter than you and not driven. So sometimes it's important to pursue a subject, a matter that you're passionate about. Don't think about, will I get a job or whatever. Passion is more important than intelligence. So passion has a role in the academy. Money is important, but you'll be more successful if you respect your passion. Passion is more important than intelligence. However, remember, the degree doesn't matter anymore. Show me what you can do. Don't show me your certificate. What skills are you gathering when you pursue that passion? What skills are you gathering as you pursue that degree that you think has money? Critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, resilience. Those are the skills that you must master even if you go for the job that you think has money or the degree that gives you money or the passion. Always remember, capabilities and competencies are now more important than the piece of paper. Very important that you understand that. Yes, to the little degree that Zobo gives you, the little degree from GZU, the little degree from NAST, the little degree from UZ. It's little, because in 2 years old, that knowledge will be dead and gone. But your skills, your thinking, critical thinking skills, your ability to learn how to learn, learning how to unlearn and relearn will remain. Your resilience will remain. If you are able to build resilience in your system, resilience will never die. Your little degree will die. Okay,
How do we make sure we avoid plagiarism from AI? Wrong language. There's no plagiarism from AI. If you're a teacher, I think you need to wake up. If you're a professor, please wake up. There's no plagiarism from AI. Embrace AI. Ask yourself as a teacher, as a professor, how can I become a better professor in the environment where AI exists? I can't ban it. Can I work with it? Plagiarism from AI. Shame on you. There's no plagiarism from AI. AI is like a calculator. AI calculator cannot do plagiarism. Do you know UCT? I'm a bit harsh because I want to make sure the professor learns. At UCT, they've banned using Turnitin to check for AI. They said, no, it's not practical. We are no longer going to check for AI usage. We will not do that. Plagiarism is something else. That's when you take Chikwana's work and say it's mine. That is not allowed. That's plagiarism. And Turnitin and many programs can pick it up that you are publishing Chikwana's work. That you must not do as an academic. Using AI is different. You can't call it plagiarism. It's using a calculator. How can we stop a calculator from plagiarizing? The calculator does not plagiarize. When you do the exam, you do 2 pages of analysis. At the end, you have a bunch of numbers. You type them into the calculator, you get your answer. The maths teacher has learned how to teach maths and grade maths in the existence of the calculator. You as a professor, as a teacher, you must say, how can I give an assignment? How can I grade a master's thesis? How can I grade a PhD? When there is ChatGPT and it's going to be used. And I gave you an example. I said, when you're giving the assignment, when you're giving the master's, make sure that you say to the state, go and use AI. I could care less. But I want to know, what did you tell ChatGPT to get the answer? What did you ask it? What are the instructions you gave the machine? Please, can we share? And I'm going to grab that. Number 2, I want to see that master's produced from ChatGPT. Let me have it. And I say how good it is. Give me the master's that we did using ChatGPT. Let me see it. And I'll give you some marks for it. Then I'll say to you, can you critique that master's, that thesis you got from ChatGPT? Tell me how it is flawed. Tell me the limitations of that master's thesis. And if you can't give me that, you are going to fail that master's. More importantly, I want you to improve that thesis you got from ChatGPT. Can you improve it beyond the AI? If you can't do that, there's no master's for you. You are not graduating. Do you understand? As opposed to saying, oh, this is done by ChatGPT. Yes, let it be done by ChatGPT. Let them do it. But I want to know what they gave the ChatGPT to get the masters. Tell us the instructions you gave to the... 2, can we look at that masters? Is it making sense? Then, the kicker. Can you give us a critique of this masters which was done by the machine? Where is it flawed? What are its problems? It's so perfect. You have failed. Go home and look after the gods. No masters for you. Can you improve this masters that you did using ChatGPT? It cannot be improved. It's so good. Get away. There's no masters for you. What I'm saying is it's a difficult time for teachers, for professors. You have to be very creative. What you cannot do is to rubbish technology. What you cannot do is to ban it. What you cannot do is to say it is creating plagiarism. It doesn't do that. Plagiarism is taking Chikwana's work and say it's mine. That we don't want, and we can pick it up. Ndapota, AI yakafanana neelectricity. Ungaiavoida electricity. Iri mota mako pamakoti, electricity is corrupting us. Tade kusenza tine candle. Tade kuti mesi tisina mafuta. Tade kuti tisitade tine darkness. Ndokuti tikone. Aiwa, zemagetsi ariyo. Fundirai nemagetsi. This is my last time on this stage. Chikwana, this is a revolution. All our lives are going to be made uncomfortable. Be you a student, be you a teacher, be you a professor, be you a manager. Right now, I was reading a report today. The company that did a report for the government, the US government, the company will remain nameless, and they used ChatGPT to generate the report and submit it to the government. Unfortunately for them, there were hallucinations. The report was quoting non-existent documents, non-existent references, and someone picked it up. So they quickly took down the report. So what we're saying is, the AI, if you use it blindly, it will give you hallucinations, and you'll be in trouble. Use with care. And you've read the story about the professor went to the Supreme Court with a court case with hallucinations, fictitious citations, fictitious legal cases. So use AI, but there's a danger though in there. The professor must also be able to pick up the hallucinations as well. It's a revolution. Our lives are going to be very difficult. Must make sure we embrace the revolution. It cannot be usual. Let us work together as Africans to use AI to improve the quality of life of our people. Let us use AI to solve our problems. AI is your friend. Technology is your friend. You cannot fight technology. You cannot ban technology. Let us work together with AI. I thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. Another round of applause for the Prof. Like they say in English, all good things have to come to an end. So at this moment in time, let me call upon Professor Nyao to give us a vote of thanks.
Thank you and good afternoon. Samson nyama inonaka inotaura yega. Those from my generation would know what I'm talking about. You know, when you are preparing a good dish, even the pot communicates. It will show you by the bubbles that will come outside that there is something good inside. Now, thank you very much, Prof. Mutambara, for your time. They say time is money, and you gave it generously. Thank you again for bringing such an important global discussion to Masvingo, and more so to Great Zimbabwe University. And thank you again, because consistent with our culture, when we have a visitor in the home, that's when you get to eat nice food. We will have lunch. Now, come again, Professor Mutambara, for many reasons. Number one, I hope you understand my vernacular. I hope you are not like AI, because AI will say, sorry, I'm yet to learn your language. Thank you again, and we want you to come again because I'm a historian. All along I thought it was supposed to be IA. I learned today that it is AI. We want you to come again because of the speed that AI moves, Maybe by the time you were putting the last full stop on your book, that work was becoming dated already. I guess if you want to confess, Prof, I guess that's why you are now on your 8th book.